Hi Matthew, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you, despite the miserable weather, but we're in England, so what can you do? Congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you, I remember reading about Robert Zemeckis when he made Back to the Future, and he always said as much as he loves those films, the third film, the Western film, was the one that if he ever got to make it, that was the one that he really, really wanted to make. And I wondered whether that was the same for you, whether even though this is your baby in some respects, whether this film was the one that if you got to make it, this was the one that you really thought that you would like to bring to the screen.
Um, no, but there is a similarity in the sense I imagine Zemeckis grew up on westerns. I don't know, I'm surmising, but and weirdly, what happened with this movie, I watched The Man Who Be King, and it just reminded me of these epic adventure, historical, huge movies that just took you to another place. And I thought, let's do The Man Who Be Kingsman. It was literally where that came from. And then I remembered this, the folklore of what Harry was saying to Eggsy, how the Kingsman Agency was founded and why and when. And I went, let's go off and make that movie. So it was so there was, I suppose, westerns to me, westerns to Zemeckis was the sort of the big epic adventure films to me. And I like westerns, but they didn't have as much of an impact on me as Lawrence of Arabia or The Man of the King did.
Yeah, and some of the sword sequences in this film are just fantastic. In terms of the way that you shot them and your visuals, did you have that? Do you have those ideas in your head pretty early on, or does that come from when you?
Well, no, I watched some Errol Flynn stuff, and and they were amazing watching the choreography. And I thought, well, let's just sort of do that style choreography, but then just shoot it differently. And I remember saying to everyone, "Said, guys, let's figure out a way of getting a camera on a sword and shoot that down." And my DP's freaking out because all DPs hate wide angle. And this movie we shot very much long lens and old lenses and that style of photography, which is sort of the epic way of doing it in the past. And then suddenly we're putting on like the equivalent of 8mm little things onto the lens, but it looked cool. So I just said, look, if it's telling the story, the DPs go nuts for me. I said, most people don't never, if they're commenting on the lighting, means the movie's dull. That should be one of the things that's an enhancement, not the reason to watch a film. So, but so we put some little cameras on those lenses, and it was fun to look. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Let's carry on.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, I have to say. One of the other
Yeah.
great visuals is I don't think there's anything better than seeing Ralph Fiennes in that suit with the top hat and the
Yeah.
umbrella. I mean, I remember he did play John Steed at one point, but it gave me reverberations of him playing. It must be great to have him on set, and when he looks like that, he looks so cool and has such a presence.
He's the original Kingsman. Simple as
Yeah,
that. There was nobody else I think that could have played this role. And I am history, excuse well, this movie's historical, but I couldn't imagine what would have happened with this movie if Rafe hadn't said yes. I don't know where we would have ended up. We would definitely have had an incredibly different movie. Rafe became sort of the true north of the film.
yeah. And just finally, I have to ask you about Argylle. I mean, the cast for your next film is absolutely stacked. Not only do you have all these amazing people, but you've got Catherine O'Hara in one of your movies, which I think is just a huge compliment to you as a filmmaker. You get someone like her. How's that going? And are you ready to hopefully release it next year?
It's still going. I'm shooting it as we speak. So we don't wrap for another week, and so far so good. One more week. We've got two more big dramatic scenes to do, and then 4 more days of action, which the actors won't be happy about. And then it's finished. And then we've got we edit. I'd like it to come out towards sort of this time next year is the plan, but let's see what the world's like this time next year.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Always love to talk to you, Matthew. Thank you so much for your time again.
Well, thank you.
Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.